National parks are beautiful and serene. They have locations where man and nature can come together in harmony. But the shadows of the forest hold secrets. There are seemingly never-ending disappearances occurring in our state parks all around the country. Brian Joseph Perry, Rocky Mountain National Park. Brian Perry was hiking on a Mount Meeker in Rocky Mountain National Park. He texted a picture of himself on top of the mountains the same day he went missing. Since that picture was sent, no one has had any kind of contact with him. Brian is 38 years old. He was wearing a tan hat with sunglasses and a red backpack. He may or may not have been wearing a yellow rain jacket. Park rangers believe his final destination was Mount Meeker. Brian is 5'8" and weighs around 160 pounds. It seems really creepy to me that someone would send a picture themselves, and hours later, never be heard from again, seemingly vanishing into thin air. Theories range from Brian getting hurt on the mountainside, but surely rangers would have found it by now. Hopefully, he isn't one of the many who have been allegedly abducted from that area by alleged visitors. At the time of this video's recording, Scott Tanzar had set out to hike inside Yosemite National Park. It was late July when he left, and consequently has not been heard from since. Scott is currently 48 years old. He is described as standing 6'1", with brown hair and hazel eyes. He weighs about 185 pounds. What he was last wearing is not known, but it is said he wears mostly army-colored clothing. Officials say he would more than likely be carrying fishing gear. Scott is a former Army Ranger and definitely has the skills to survive a hiking trip. He was last seen at the Bridgeport Ranger Station on July 25th. Scott's family firmly believes he must have been hurt or lost, and that there was no way he purposely disappeared. They are very worried and just want a safe return or at least some decent closure. Scott's brother mentioned that he's a very experienced hiker in the area and had done this many times with no hiccups. Also mentioning they've been exploring the area since they were kids. Scott was a captain in the U.S. Army, and after his tour in Afghanistan, he went to teach English in South Korea to kids and adults for many years. The family is still holding out hope that his survival skills will keep him alive in the wilderness. Army Rangers are trained to do just that. Hopefully, Scott will come home safe. Could Scott have fallen into the sinister source of these missing 411 cases? Or is he simply one of the many people who fall into the wrong circumstances? Either way, my thoughts and prayers go to the family. Derek Engebretson, Winema National Forest. Jumping back to 1998, Derek Engebretson was on a trip with his father and grandfather. It was a family tradition to go to the Winema National Forest in Oregon and pick up mushrooms. The family was no stranger to the outdoors, and they even nicknamed Derek Bear Boy. On December 5th, the family wandered out into the woods to find a suitable Christmas tree. They started their search on the mountainside of Pelican Butte, a steep and densely wooded area. The family split up and met back around an hour later to discover Derek was mysteriously nowhere to be found. After over an hour of searching, Derek's father flagged down a local, driving down the road to call 911. After another 2 hours passed by, the cops would finally arrive with search and rescue teams. Luckily, Derek's grandfather was an expert tracker and was able to trace the boy's steps back to the parking lot, and where Derek had stopped to make a snow angel. Derek had a small hatchet with him at the time, and cuts were also found on trees in that same general area. Unfortunately, since the time of snow plow had come through, obliterating any other tracks made by the little boy. After tireless efforts searching in sub-zero weather, officials called it quits, declaring Derek must be dead as no one could survive the weather for that long. For the next 2 years, Derek's parents devoted every spare moment to combing the mountain for their boy, spending thousands of dollars on psychics and search boats, and they eventually went bankrupt. Sometime in 2002, someone sent a letter to the family claiming they had killed Derek. The letter gave them the name of Frank Milligan, a former juvenile counselor who was already 36 years in the hole for the rape and attempted murder of a 10-year-old boy. But it proved fruitless as he just faked knowledge about the case. The letter was most likely a hoax. After 20 years, the family is just still hoping to find some sort of closure. Morgenheimer Grand Canyon National Park. On June 2nd of 2015, Morgenheimer went missing in Grand Canyon National Park. Morgan was 22 years old at the time and was 6 feet tall. He was roughly 175 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing long blue plaid shirt, Chaco brand sandals, bright-colored shorts, and a maroon-colored baseball hat, and carried a purple water bottle. Morgan was last seen around Colorado River near the Pumpkin Springs area. The search has continued for him, but with no real trace of where he went, officials have struggled to progress the case. It is likely Morgan got caught in the water and unfortunately drowned. But hopefully, we can find the true answer someday and maybe come a little bit closer to solving these odd missing 411 type cases.